Well, I know last week I said there was no wedding in Wuthering Heights, so where are we going to get these Wuthering Heights trends from? Now, my phone must have been listening to me, because now all I'm seeing is Wuthering Heights wedding inspiration. Actually, some of them... Yeah, some of them are stunning. And I suppose what they've done is they've not gone, oh, this was the wedding they had, so this is like the vibe.
Yeah.
What they've done is like, you know, a lot of like castle kind of vibe venues, really dark, lots of candlelight, the big dress, you know, like the dress style that she was wearing the whole way through.
That
like,
massive,
like that. Well, then I was like, I messaged one of my couples. I was like, you was on this Wuthering Heights trend
way before
Wuthering Heights was even filmed, mate. Because
before it was written.
Yeah,
1700s.
Literally, yeah. She probably did. She probably had that wedding folder going already.
Yeah.
She's going for like the deep red, very like castle vibes venue, Ashridge House, black bridesmaids. I won't say anything about the dress. I doubt her husband to be is going to listen to this, but
just in case, you never know. You never know.
The vibes are Wuthering Heights.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I was like, damn it! If only it was now, I'd be so on trend. But now we're going to look like we were just following a Wuthering Heights trend, but we weren't.
I keep going up to Richard in the morning and kissing me now, and let us both be damned.
What the? Did he watch it with you? Does he know what you're talking about?
I just keep doing it to see it when it eventually really annoys him. Let us both be damned, Kathy.
That was a good accent. That's literally how he talks.
I'm literally going to Yorkshire as well.
Oh, jeez. Should we get started?
Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
And I'm Hayley.
And we are your wedding planning experts.
Here to spill the tea on the inside of wedding planning and everything that goes with it.
Expect our honest opinions, the real juice on what happens on a wedding day.
With a few tits thrown in between.
And also just a chat between friends.
And of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And let's get you wed!
Woo! I'm still laughing about that accent.
Got there.
I think that's why I couldn't connect with him, because of that accent. I don't know, like, no offence to the Yorkshireman, but it was so, like, I don't know.
It was just so beneath me.
No! I love there's some accents I love, but I don't know. I
can't understand it.
Couldn't get on board.
Couldn't get on board.
I think it wasn't even the Yorkshire, it was like his voice. Anyway, how was your week?
Yeah, my week's been good, to be fair. I'm actually getting ready to go on holiday for a little short break, so I'm little breaks. I'm very excited. I am going north, towards Yorkshire, because I'm going to the Lake District. So
nice.
I'm really can't wait. I'm so excited. So we're staying in a little village called Aside, which is like south of Windermere.
Yeah, nice.
So we're travelling up on Saturday, and I've booked like a self-drive powerboat.
Oh, cute.
Just to go out and have a little picnic. Me, Richard, and Lily, and gonna go around the lake in our little boat. So yeah, I'm very excited. But it actually reminded me, because I did a wedding a couple of years ago now, I think it was, and they got married in this hotel that overlooks Windermere.
Nice.
And for their drinks reception, because there's like a steamboat that does like a tour of Windermere, it's like a big boat, they actually hired it, and that was their drinks reception.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, all their guests went out on the boat, and they had like these really cool photos. I didn't realise
you did a Lake District wedding.
That's
cool.
Yeah. Do you know what? It was.
This is why we do this pod now. Now we know what each other does all the time.
All the time. Yeah, it was really cool. So it was really, really hot. It was, what time? I'm trying to think. I think it was in June.
Okay, nice.
When's Glastonbury? Because it was the same weekend as Glastonbury.
I feel June, about that
May,
kind
June,
of time.
something like that.
June,
Anyway, so, and I'd had to travel up with all the flowers done in the like a big. I had a van.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's long.
So
for you.
Yeah, so we travelled up the day before. So we stayed in like a little bed and breakfast above a little pub. It was quite cute actually. But all the flowers were in the back of the van, and it was so hot, and there was hydrangeas, and I was like, oh my god, I had to keep going out and checking on them.
Like checking your hydrangea.
But they were fine, absolutely fine. I just kept them hydrated, and
I suppose they're like in the shade in your van, aren't they?
Yeah. So it was good, but it was lovely wedding, just quite far away, but it was cool. Yeah, so isn't it just so nice? Love it. Gonna
do any mountain mountain climbing?
Well, we will do a few walks. We've got this funny rucksack thing that Lily sits
that you put
in.
Lily in.
So it's like she sits on your shoulders, but it's like a rucksack. So, so she's used to coming on like pretty gnarly walks with us, I suppose, getting chucked about, but she really likes it.
Yeah, I bet.
So we're definitely going to do one on the first day. I think you go up quite high and then you overlook Windermere and stuff. So but we spent a lot of time there when I was young, like with my family. So I really love it there. But
Nice.
But so that's my week basically.
Nice. And you've got a face-to-face consultation you've got today?
Yes. So I'm meeting with a couple for a wedding
at
next
the venue
year.
or
No, just meeting them just at a coffee shop, just halfway between me and them. So
see, this is the kind of service you get from Hayley.
That's
I
right.
don't see any other florists taking you.
That's right.
Coffee.
Yeah, I'll take you for coffee. I'll show you a good time.
I'm assuming you don't do this if they're like anywhere other than local to you, though.
No, but
then you do the video.
I will tell you something funny actually, because when I first started, obviously you take everything, don't you? You're like, do this, yes. I actually drove. I drove to Southend.
What?
I drove to Southend to someone's house just for a consultation.
Wow, yeah, that's far,
isn't it?
That's
was
really
like?
far.
I think I was having
especially
like a moment.
when you like. You can do all of that over video call.
I mean, what was I thinking?
That you can screen share to show them ideas. They can screen share to show you what they like. They can share Pinterest boards with you beforehand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I did one before as well where basically I did the National Wedding Show. So it was in XL in London. So you get like people from all over. So so I ended up going all over the place that year, which was really cool. But I met with this couple and they really liked me, but they were getting married in Barbados and they wanted artificial flowers. So I basically became quite good friends with them, and they obviously paid me, but I went to their house and I made all the bouquets and stuff with them, and her and her bridesmaids, and like we all like got together. And I just remember like I had lasagna and salad for lunch while I was there.
Random.
And but they ended up, because of COVID, they ended up like not getting married for like 4 years or something.
Jesus, but the flowers still lasted.
But exactly. But so I've been all over, but not anymore though, guys. Sorry.
No
anymore.
But I do wonder, like, how do people do it before like video? Because you think even like video calls not been around for that long, really.
No.
So like, say you were getting married in like I don't know America or you were getting married in the UK and you're from like America or something, or you're getting married in Scotland and you're from Southend, or like how meeting with your suppliers, like how I just don't understand how people would have done it.
Yeah, it's a good point. I guess.
Yeah, we just rely on it so much, don't we, to just be able to hop on a call,
definitely.
share our screen, show them information. Yeah, bizarre. There you go.
That's it. Yeah, but how's your week been?
Yeah, good. Yeah. So I'm doing an event at the end of March, at the end of the month, and it's a event for wedding suppliers, basically. So my business coach I've worked with for ever since I started about 6 years ago. She's running it, and she's basically got all different people speaking, and then I'm going as part of the panel. So it's for wedding suppliers to come and like learn, and she's got some incredible people speaking. It's going to be a really, really good event. So if you are a wedding supplier listening, make sure you're coming along. Pop me a message if you need the information. But so I'm part of the panel. So it'd be like, she basically wanted a panel of people who still work in the industry, because a lot of her speakers did work in the industry, or they're like like lawyers and things like that, so they're talking about like contracting, or they're like marketing specialists and talking about social media and things like that. So she wanted people that still work in the industry, so we're going to be talking about like working in the industry essentially. So we did like a little pre-event thing, launched last night. She did it live on Facebook for anyone that wanted to kind of get an idea of what the event was about. So I went onto that, and we were basically talking about what we're doing right now in our businesses, that what is working for us, kind of thing. So I wanted to go, because everyone talks about like, oh, I'm doing Google Ads, or I'm working on my social media, or so I went down a bit of a different route, and I was talking about how I'm really prioritizing the boss, which is me, setting boundaries and saying no. And I spoke a bit about
hard as well. That is probably harder than doing your Google Ads, let's be honest. And
you've got to protect yourself, haven't you? And I was talking about how actually, and I was really thinking about it before I went on, and I was like, when you think about it, we're in when you think about all the wedding suppliers that you know, we are massive people pleasers. I think it just comes with the nature and the territory of doing this job.
I think to a certain extent it makes you good at what you do, though, you know, to be like that.
It does, but it's not
you've got to have
healthy for you.
It's not,
and you
but I
end
think
up,
it gives you an edge. Like,
yeah, but I think what tends to happen is you end up working for not enough money, and then this is why so many businesses are closing. Like I see so many businesses closing all the time, and because people get run down because they're taking on too much because they're not charging enough.
It's like
and
know your worth, right?
Yeah, 100%, and put your boundaries in place. And what I was saying was, which again, it was something I hadn't really thought of before, but like my couples have between 10 and 20 suppliers per wedding, yeah. So if you've got one of your suppliers that is replying at 10 o'clock at night, agreeing to discounts, saying, oh yeah, I'll throw that and I'll throw that in, they're going to expect that from all of your suppliers. So actually, as a community of suppliers, we should
stick together.
Yeah, and we should all be working on the same page. And look, don't get me wrong, there's also a large section of people that aren't great at their jobs and are letting people down and are really bad at replying, and don't get me wrong, but there is this large amount of people, and I see it more than I do bad suppliers, where they're too freaking good, and then everyone's a bit like, well, why have they not replied within 30 minutes, you know? And it's like, well, you know, and I spoke a bit about how I've like now separated my phones and things like that, and actually it's a boundary which I've put in place, was a really big step for me, took a lot for me to do it, and actually I don't think anyone's even noticed. Do you know what I mean? Like, none of my couples are
but do you feel better? Because that's what's important, right?
It's like so it's like changed the game.
That's amazing. That is
and I was
so
saying
good.
about how, like, say you worked for a big company, I don't know, like British Gas, BT, I don't know, worked for the council, whatever. That it just isn't even a thing where you would go on holiday and reply to emails and messages.
No,
or
of course not.
You would go on your honeymoon and reply to messages, or you would, be replying to messages during your kid's birthday party. And unfortunately, it's just like something that we just naturally do. And I think it's just so key that we all start like. Yeah, just realising that we can put boundaries in, because our couples probably don't even notice that we do need to be saying no. Yeah. And so that's what I kind of spoke about on that. So yeah, we've also had a bit of a nightmare situation this week.
Oh.
One of my couples, bless them, I do feel for them. So we've been trying to get their invitations out. They live in America. We've been designing for a while. This is like a key aspect for her. Like, stationery is really, really important. She's very much about like the whole journey for the guest, right?
Oh,
so
that's quite nice,
they get their save the day, and then they get their invitation, and she really wanted to set the scene from day dot. Well, we've had a few like delays along the way, and then she wanted these like bespoke cut envelopes, and the stationer had said like, I can get, because her wedding's in like 4 months, which we say, to get invites like 4 to 6 months before, but she wanted to get them out, obviously, because they're international, whatever. And the stationer did say that the envelopes are going to cause a delay because they're hand cut, they take longer to come.
Okay.
So,
oh my goodness, what's different about them? Just wondering, like, when you say
they're
hand
like
cut,
a bit like, I want to say they're like scallop. It's like the shape of them, the bit. It's not just a triangle that goes over the top.
Like
they're like a shape, not scalloped, no, but it's got like a bit of a fancy edge.
Okay.
And they are also inside the I can't think of the word now. Like the insert. The inside.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
A different paper.
Okay,
and then it's got a print on it. It's got like their logo printed into it. So yeah. Quite a lot going on. So all the invitation, everything were ready to go, but we're waiting for these bloody envelopes, which were delayed.
Typical.
And then they got lost in the post.
No! Oh no! No, that's so annoying.
So I didn't tell them, and she kept messaging me like, any update? And I'm like, I don't want to tell her that they're lost in the post.
I'm feeling the anxiety right now.
Like, I'm the kind of person that I don't like to go to people with problems. I like to go with solutions, right? So this is the problem. This is how we can fix it. So at the time, I'm like literally bombarding the station with messages like, what's going on? Like, what are DPD saying? What's the alternative? Like, and waiting for her to come back and whatever. In the end, I thankfully they then got found.
Oh,
so
gosh,
I know. So, but it was so much anxiety for those couple of days.
Surprised.
So I then voice noted her. I was like, "Look, I didn't want to let you know, but the envelopes went missing. They were supposed to be delivered 2 days ago. They didn't come. DPD couldn't find them. Anyway." they've been found now, but I didn't want you to tell you that, so you were worried about it, basically. So yes, we are delayed. We're behind, delayed, which she was really upset about. But it's what can you do? But they're with her now. The invitations are there. Thank God, and I'm so glad. When the station messaged and was like, "Here's your tracking for the invitations. They've gone to America." I was like watching it like a hawk. They were like at Stansted Airport. I know. Like,
what the hell?
Oh, the envelopes. I don't know. Just DPD and it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Couldn't track the parcel, but then the actual invitations had proper tracking. So thankfully it was all okay. So and then other than that, I went to see Lion King in London.
So I saw this on your stories. I was like, yeah, that's so
cool. We went when I was a kid, the year it came out.
Did you?
We worked out. It must have been about 8. And then it was supposed to close in March, wasn't it? But it's now been extended to November. So it's been on for, obviously, I mean, I was 8, so it's been on for like 28 years or something. But it is going to close. Don't know when now. It's been extended to November. So I reckon what happened is, as they announced it was closing, they've just had an influx of bookings. Yeah, it must so they thought, well, we'll extend it.
It's quite like a nostalgia hit for a lot of people, isn't it? I think.
It's just amazing. It's such a good show. I mean, I love shows anyway. Yeah. But that was a very good experience. So that's been my week. But this week, guys, we have our Q&A and recommendations episode. So we put on our Instagram and we tell you guys in advance that we're going to be doing this, so you can write in, ask us your questions, and then this is the week that we will answer them. Obviously, we'll always answer them on our regular eps, but this is your episode. It's all focused on you, what you want to know, what you need to know. Yeah. So, yes.
Following on from last week, there was a couple of bits, I think, because we were speaking about shoes. So, so I said about the shoes that you can dye. You can obviously you can get them. You buy them, they're ivory. Then you can send them off as part of what you pay after your wedding to have them dyed in any colour. And then they send them back, obviously. So the name of that is Rainbow Club, because it was really bothering me. I couldn't remember the name.
No, you couldn't.
And I was like,
I've heard of these. But do you have to buy the shoes from them?
I think so.
Originally.
Yeah. So you buy their shoes. I wonder
if there's anyone
that does it
without you having to buy their shoes.
Possibly, yeah, probably is. I know with that brand and that company, they do a lot of so they do wide fit, and they do they do loads of size, very inclusive. Like I know that because I know a lot of friends that, like, one of my friends is really tall. She has quite like she has larger feet because she's tall. And she went there and they're really comfortable and they're like, so
nice. I think I've heard good things about
that. So that was that. And then I know we spoke about a regular choice, which is those alternative shoes, and we weren't sure if they were still going. They actually are.
Did they close for a bit?
Maybe.
I'm sure I saw
I think you're probably right
ago where it was like then maybe they got bought out or something. Maybe they went into administration.
Possibly.
And got bought out.
But they're do you know what, the shoes are actually not that bad price, because considering they're quite out there, aren't they? They're quite decorated.
Different,
you think they'd be quite expensive, but you'd be looking at like between £70 and £90 for one of their like top pairs of shoes. So
nice.
I thought that was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, that is good.
Just
there you go. There's a
info
option
for you guys.
Yeah, if people want something a bit different.
Yeah.
Okay, so going into your questions, I've got a message here. Hello, I'd love to get your thoughts on table layouts. I love the look of long banquet tables, but we're having tapas and our caterers have recommended round table. Oh, I hate this.
Oh god.
I'm a bit bored of the standard traditional round table setup. Yes. And I've been seeing caterpillar or serpent tables everywhere lately, which look great and we have the space, but you can't fit as many people on each table, which isn't ideal as we need 8 to 10 for the tapas. Do you have any suggestions for alternative ways to lay out each round table, or anything to make it feel more cohesive and like everyone is together? Would love to hear you chat about this on the podcast. Thanks in advance. This is funny because I'm having the same conversation with one of my couples at the moment.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
They don't want the standard long tables. Yeah. Just round tables have they have a place, right? So I think there's certain rooms you walk into and you're like, rounds look really good in here.
Yeah, definitely.
But I do think if you're going for tapas, you're going for like sharing.
Yeah,
you're obviously going for a more like informal vibe. Yeah. You want everyone like mucking in. Like round tables is not the one. And this really irritates me of caterers, where it's like, because what they should be saying to you is, and I understand what they're saying, is they need the space.
Yeah.
But it can be done on long tables. If you like long tables, so you can get 3 foot wide tables to make it wider.
Yeah.
You don't have charger plates, so that gives you a bit of extra room. You have minimal wine glasses. That gives you a bit of extra room. And there are ways of doing it. So you can use risers down the centres of the tables. So like to put...
see,
so
I
say
like
they've got like platters. Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I think it looks really nice.
Yeah. So you can have like the risers, then their platters then go onto the risers. And underneath then, so what the decor company would do is, or whoever's doing it, or if you're doing it yourselves, you'd put your risers down the centre and then you put some like green foliage. I actually did this for a welcome party last year. Foliage either side of the risers, and then when they put the platters down, it looks like the foliage is like sitting under the platters, so it looks really cool.
So it becomes your centerpiece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's another thing is, no centerpieces, or you could have like maybe one small thing per 6 foot, but you're better off just having the food.
The food is your centerpiece. Your
focal point. So there are ways around it. So it kind of bugs me a little bit when caterers are just like, no, can't do that.
Yeah.
Because you can.
I think they're just sticking to what they know and what is easier.
100%, without a doubt. Absolutely, without a doubt. The other thing to be wary of with long tables is if you go for like those rustic wooden tables, so they're bare, they have like slats in the. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
they're not
bits of wood.
Yeah, they're like
wobbly,
so you
right?
Can't
put as much down because then you've got a gap. Like I've had people before. This really infuriates me as well is when venues use those tables and cloth them because then you put down a bottle of red wine.
Yeah, and it's like whoa, it's like
I've had it and then it spills all over the table. Yeah. Nightmare. I've had this happen 10 minutes before our guests. I was like, no. So you either need to, or you need to just have standard 3 foot wide trestle tables that are then clothed. That would be my tip, is to maybe like push back on it a little bit. Just say, we are going to have long tables, but we're going to go to 3 foot wide. We're going to go minimal on the decor and we can get these risers, whatever. Now, my thought on these, my couple like these serpentine tables. So if you're going to do, I think you mean where the round tables are all pushed together. So there's 2 options here. You can either have the round tables that are all pushed together.
Yeah.
And exactly as you say it, they take up so much space and you can only have, I think it's 6 people that really work, maybe 5 per table. So that's not going to, obviously, well, it could work because you just do less tapas. Again, like you say you need to have tapas 8 to 10 people, but they could just do less on each board. But they do take up a lot of space and you need to have a big flower budget for those tables because you're going to have a lot of space to fill down the centre.
It's going to be, we're looking a bit better.
Or you can then get the serpentine tables, which are almost like a curved table like this. So they make up 90 degrees. So if you put 2 together, there'd be like 180 degrees. But it's really hard to explain. I'm kind of showing it if you're watching on YouTube with my fans. They're like that. They're like a curved table, right? And it goes down like a wave all the way down. They're no wider than a banquet table. So if you like banquet tables, there's no point.
Yeah.
And from mine and Hayley's experience, we have sat at these
We
have these serpentine tables, and they're not logistically great to sit at.
I found it very odd.
Yeah, like me and Hayley were in the bump.
Yeah.
So like Hayley, basically, my left shoulder was against Hayley's right shoulder, and we were kind of away from each other. So you had to really twist your body.
Yeah, so strange. It was so strange.
I think it's all right if you're on at the outer bump.
Yeah,
but when you're on the inner bump,
yeah,
it doesn't work. And I think the same with like the putting. I'm just honestly, I'm being like completely transparent. I don't mind the serpent tables, but they take up so much room. Again, you can only fit like 4 people per trestle instead of 4 or 5 instead of like the standard.
They're not
6.
really practical to get a lot of people in, are they? It's more about the look, but actually you'd need like a bloody long go of them to actually. Would.
And again, for your situation, the serpentine is no better because the serpentine's like a snake. Like a snake.
Yeah.
I suppose that's better. So caterpillar and serpentine are different. Serpentine's like the snake. Also, just saying, there's only a few different companies that do those tables, and they're really bloody expensive.
Yeah.
Caterpillar is where the rounds are pushed together. So like a caterpillar body.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of the caterpillar. I don't know. I think it probably looks great on Instagram in shoots. That's the issue as well. Is a lot of this stuff on social media is a starred shoot.
And they're probably in a massive space as well.
Yeah.
I feel like a normal venue, like generally venues aren't that big, are they?
No.
They're not. They're just...
Yeah, and I really think it's going to be a trend that we look back on and go, God, that was really 2025, 2026.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of them. I just think you can't go wrong with it. It's just a normal, like, trestle, like banquet
your long
table.
trestles.
Like, it's exactly the same thing. It's actually more practical because more people fit in.
Yeah. And so many companies have the 3 foot wide ones, so they're a little bit wider.
It's not going to cost you like a ridiculous amount of money.
No, the other thing you could do is just use the standard width trestles, but again, it depends how big your room is, and then put 2 together. But again, you are going to need, that does make it quite wide. And you'd need a lot more linen and centerpieces and stuff. But I just warm with the caterpillar. Like that one that event we went to, their flowers were hefty, weren't they? Down the side. You think how wide that makes the space. You're going to have to do a lot on the centre of the table to make them look good. Yeah. So it depends on your budget, I suppose.
That's true. But no, I agree. I think stick to your banquet and trestles.
And we do it all the time, like tapas stuff. I've got a wedding coming up in July. They're having all sharing food. They're having meats, potatoes, salads. They've got all sorts going on, and we're just doing long banqueting tables. And the caterer's like, it is annoying, but we're going to do it. I worked in catering for years, and it is annoying, but like there's things that you can do. You can like pass platters around to people, and and then take it back off them if it's weighted properly. Like
then there shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, it is annoying. Yeah, I get what they're saying, and you've got to be conscious of it. I'm glad they've flagged it, because a lot of caterers just don't say anything, and then on the day it's an issue. But if they're pouring wine, for example, pour wine, don't put it on the tables. That saves you space. Pour water, don't put it on the tables. That saves you space. So there's ways around it.
Yeah, that's really good to know. I think,
Yeah. Okay, next up we've got, hi, would you consider doing a bit on the pod about how to style your own tables? We're doing it ourselves the day before and need to consider table runners, candles, charger plates versus no charger plates, etc. So I thought I'd read this out. I think that this would be really good for our next topic.
I think so. Yeah, I think we should definitely do it because I know a lot of people listening obviously are doing their own decor and things like that. So and obviously we can give like practical advice.
We can give our advice, What I would say as well is if anyone is doing their own decor and they want any advice on the decor, write into us and then we can do it as like a whole piece. Yeah. So if it's like, I don't know, what do you specifically want to know? Is it that you want a list of what things to need? I mean, we just spoke then a little bit, didn't we, about, for example, if you're having banqueting tables, like you make sure you've got space for charger plates, things like that.
Yeah. All the little things that you might forget. Like because that is the thing with banqueting tables, is if you've got a standard a standard trestle table is 2.5 foot wide, right? You can get the wider ones at 3 foot, which makes a difference. But if you get a standard one, if you put 2 charger plates opposite each other, they like nearly touch. Yeah. So you have to like what's stagger.
It called? Like, stagger, because otherwise you can't fit your centerpieces down.
Which is heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking for Hayley. But we'll cover that. But guys, we'll pop it up on our Instagram as well. But write into us, letsgetyouwedpodcast @gmail.com or DM us and just let us know any decor questions you can do so we can do it as a whole segment.
So next up we've got, hiya, love your podcast. Thank you. I've already learnt so much. I have a flower-related question.
Here we go.
We have a meeting with a florist and I'm super stuck on what questions I should be asking. It's an August wedding, so not sure what's in season. I also have the worst hay fever known to man. Oh, that's really sad. I get an injection every year and it's honestly a miracle, but is there any advice on least triggering florals? I'm also really set on real flowers.
I had this a couple of years ago.
It's a tricky one.
We had to go faux because his allergies were so bad. He was like, I literally won't cope for the rest of the day.
Oh no. Also, our venue is an all-in-one place with many changeovers. So what flowers would work as good turnarounds for ceremony, wedding breakfast and evening? Also, would love to do a donation after to maybe a hospice or care home. Is this a commonly done thing? All tips welcome. Okay.
Cool. Should we do the first bit?
Yeah.
The hay fever. Should we do the questions? The questions for the florist. What should they be asking?
Yeah. So I think really what you need to start with is if you have a colour scheme and you're not set on flowers, which it sounds like you're not. Obviously, if you're struggling with hay fever, obviously you need to flag that straight away as well. That's quite a big deal. But I would be saying, what's in season? What can you use is going to make the most of our budget? And things like that, just to kind of obviously gauge then what's going to make the most out of your decor.
Yeah.
Because if you're not set on a certain flower, you will then they're going to sort of advise you, which is really what you want them to do.
Yeah, like you've said here, like I'm super stuck. I'm not sure what's in season, but that's for them to advise.
That's for them to advise you. Yeah. So let them do what they do best, which is they're the florist. So they need to be advising you, and they need to be giving you help with the decor. Obviously, if you're looking for a certain kind of thing, then you want to kind of ask, have you done this? What have you done before? Similar, can I see some photos?
Yes, good one. Yeah, portfolios are a similar vibe.
You want to kind of see, because it's so visual, and I think it's really difficult. I know when I'm speaking with couples, you kind of want to show them, because it's hard to explain, because obviously I'll be like, oh, this flower, but they don't really care about that. They just want it to look good, right?
Yeah. They want to see how they look. They don't know the names.
That's it. Yeah.
I would also say take like a mood board with you.
Yes.
You can make them in Pinterest. You can pin loads of pins.
So
and
helpful.
Pull it from Pinterest. Or make one yourself on Canva or something.
That's it. You want to make sure you're on the same page, basically.
Yeah,
so you're all like looking at the same thing, so there's no like miscommunication. Also,
the other question
sorry, no, go on.
The other question I always think is good to ask a florist is what other bits and bobs they've got.
Yes.
So, like, have they got, like, the vases? Have they got footed bowls?
Yeah, like, is that included? Yeah, do you do... Yeah, because we have everything, right? Some florists don't. But that's a really good one. I would be asking that, because then you can get everything in one place. So, like, obviously, if they're showing you a mood board, or, like, we can do this, and there's, like, loads of candles involved, like, taper candles involved with the florals, then obviously you want to know, well... Do you provide that, or is that going to be in it? Have I got to get there somewhere else? Do they? So do you hire that stuff out? Is delivery included? Like logistics on the day is actually quite a big thing. So you want to make sure, if you're wanting to reuse things, which it sounds like you do, you want to make sure they do that. Are they going to do that for you? Point. So just things like that. But
also end of night, like you've come back for
will
me
you
at
collect?
Before.
Yeah.
And also what's quite nice is and ask for what their ideas are on what you can do to then reuse flowers. A lot of my couples, they're flying home, so they can't be taking flowers. So like Hayley's come back before and pulled out loads of flowers and made bouquets and given them out to
like
guests,
a little flower bar.
Like that. It's like that's because some florists will do it, some won't. Some will just be like, once they're with you, like you've got to get rid of them, and that's a big old job. When do you know what, I always find this at weddings, a lot of people, and I can do it sometimes, and then I'm like, oh, what is actually happening with this? Like they think about everything getting there and flowing for the day, but they don't think about the aftermath. I don't think about all these flowers they're going to have. Like, what the hell are you actually going to do with them?
There's a lot of flowers. It's a lot of flowers.
So ask what their advice is on that.
Totally. Also, you want to just gather their advice for what they would do in terms of like your table setup. So if you want tall or short tables, like what's going to work? Are you having banqueting style? Obviously, we just spoke about that. What they would suggest in terms of what's going to be practical with your food setup. And because the last thing you want is... if you're having tapas, for example, is a great big centerpiece in the middle of the table, because there's no room for it. So you've got to kind of like just make sure you're talking about all of those things. And just, I always go in and I ask what they want. So I do a whole list. So we start from bridal bouquets all the way to your centerpieces and decor. So they'll kind of run through all that with you. So I would just make sure you've got a list of what you sort of require. So like how many bridesmaids, how many buttonholes and things like that. As well, but they'll probably be answering your questions. They do it they should be sort of like advising you, but hopefully those questions that we've sort of flagged up will help. So what was it? So the hay fever. So the thing with hay fever is mainly it's the pollen that sets people off. So you want to be avoiding any flowers that have like stamens, like the pollen that's for example,
like
lily is like your
which you have said before you should avoid anyway, or cut them off.
They stain.
They can stain your dress.
So it's they're not really ones that we would really use anyway. But they are probably anything that's highly scented. So
roses.
So like scented roses. So roses don't have pollen in them, so they're actually not that bad. But you want anything that's got a strong smell is probably going to put you off. So I would avoid garden scented roses. I would avoid anything that's got pollen in it. So that even includes like one of the most common flowers that we use is Lysianthus or Eustoma, which has pollen in it. So that's going to be a no. anything else.
What about your Amaranthus anthurium vibe? Are they non-pollen?
So Amaranthus, I'm not so anything that's going to drop its pollen. So the anthurium should be fine, because although it has that stamen in the middle, it's not actually got pollen coming off of it. It's like waxy, isn't it? So so they would be fine. Amaranthus, I'm not so sure on, because
it's quite little bitty,
isn't it? Anything that's going to drop. Obviously, I completely understand that you want to have real flowers, but I would really highly suggest that you have a mock-up bouquet made of the flowers that you want.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I would keep it on you.
Keep walking it around.
Like, really, I would, because I think otherwise the last thing you want is just to assume that you're going to be all right because it's non-pollen, and then you're not.
What about foliage? Go more foliage heavy?
Yeah, you could go more foliage heavy. So like just avoiding things that have got anything that's going to drop, anything highly scented, and anything that's got lots of pollen in it.
It's like baby's breath, that drops, doesn't it? So
can do, yeah. So I would just probably avoid that as well.
I think that's a really good idea. Get a bouquet made.
Yeah, just keep it in your house.
Carry it around.
I would do that.
You're all right. Sniff it. Because and then if you're good, then tell the florist to only use those flowers. Yeah. But again, they should know anyway, shouldn't they?
I should think so. Yeah. Like if someone says
if they
to me,
don't, then change your florist.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But do just bear in mind that you can get some really good faux these days, so it's not the end of the world. If you have your mock-up bouquet done and it doesn't go well and you are streaming, then don't panic, because
because that's the worst.
Yeah, you could
also
even
take we've said this before, haven't we? Like I'm assuming if you've got bad hay fever, you do this anyway, but if you don't on a regular basis, start taking it early before the wedding. Take it a month before every single day, and then hopefully that will help.
That'll help you, yeah. And even like if you had faux flowers with real foliage, so you've still got that fresh.
Thinking, a bit of a mix.
Yeah. So we might. There's definitely things that you can do. Options. Yeah, but I would ask for a like a prototype of some sort.
I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, nice.
So then they said about changeover.
Do you know what the one I always say for this that I always think is great is the aisle, you know what? The aisle meadows, because you can have them down the aisle of your ceremony. They're very like statement. They look great. You can
amazing.
have a couple along the front where you're standing as well, or behind you, and then they can then move to the ends of your tables if you have long banqueting tables, or they can move to like window sills, or they can move in front of your
very versatile, aren't they?
Yeah, in front of your tea and coffee station, and then in the evening they can move in front of your DJ booth and in front of your band if you've got a stage or a band or whatever. That I love meadows.
Yeah, they are really good. They are lovely. They honestly, they just transform an aisle. They look so good, and so that 100%. If you're having an art, like a deconstructed arch or something like that at your ceremony, that can then be moved because it's in two pieces. Sometimes you even get one that's like a whole arch that can be moved, but it depends on how big the florist team is.
I'm not moving the whole arch.
It's a bit of a pain.
Do you know what? Quite often, I think it's so important to ask those things, because quite often a florist will say like, no, we can't move that, and I just think, if you can't move it, why bother?
Yeah, it's
for a 30-minute ceremony to do an arch, and then like the amount of couples I've had have arches at churches, and they've paid all that money, and
that is such a shame. Such a shame,
because they're so big, they're so like cumbersome, it's impossible to move.
Completely. So think about that. Also, another, I've actually had it quite a lot this year with so a couple of Jewish weddings I've got coming up with the huppahs, and they want me to reuse the flowers from the huppahs into bud vases.
Yeah, we
for
had
the tables.
This last year. We used it. She did it in bits, and then again we used it like in front of the top table. Like she did it in sections, and we took them off. Because otherwise, such a waste.
Such a waste, but. I think for ceremony that's pretty. I mean, the classic one is the arrangement that goes on the urns, anything freestanding, but the one that sits on the registrar's table.
Yeah.
It used to be like a long and low that sat on the front, but now we go a little bit more like we'll have something on the floor that climbs up, like it's a bit more fancy. Nice. But that could be easily moved because it's in a tray.
Or bud vases. Bud vases, good, you can have them on footed like your registrar's table. Or I love a footed bowl.
Yeah. So I think in terms of ceremony, that's probably everything. Obviously, you get pew ends and things like that. They're like tied to the chairs. They're always easy to move.
I tell you what I once had at a wedding was they had like they're almost like brass stands on the centers of their tables with the big flowers on top of them. almost like, the clear vases you've got, these ones were like brass, but you could do it with those as well. And they had a church, and they had stairs going up to like the altar where they would stand at the top to get married, and their florist put those all along up the stairs.
Lovely. Yeah, nice.
Then took them back and put them on the table. So that's ways of using centerpieces as well.
So we've done a couple when I've freelanced with the lady who does the artificial flowers. So she has, we've done like the clear plinths spaced down the aisle both sides, and on top of that you've got your tall trumpet vases with the big arrangements on top, like with hanging baubles of tea lights and stuff. So, and that looks incredible down the aisle, but that's a little bit more like I don't know how to explain it. So obviously with the meadows down the aisle, they're kind of, I don't want to say like rustic because I hate that word.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? A little bit free and flowing, whereas these are more kind of like structured, yeah. But then they get moved onto the tables for centerpieces. Yeah, nice. So there's lots you can do.
So lots of options there, basically, that things you can do. And again, have a chat with your florist and
if it's something that's important to you, bring it up on the first meeting to make sure that they can do it to start with. Anyway,
make sure things can get moved.
Yeah, same with what you've said about donating after to like a hospice or care home. I wouldn't say it's a commonly done thing, but it's a nice thing to do. Certainly, you need to be speaking with your florist about it, and also getting in touch with the care home or the hospice beforehand, so they know, because they actually, although it's really nice, like obviously imagine turning up with loads of flowers, once they go, they've then got to deal with that, actually it could end up being a hindrance for them, although it is lovely. So your florist
it might cost you more. You might have to pay for them to pick up and then do that, because it's time, isn't it? But you could do it yourselves if not. Say for example your venue let you collect the next day, you can just go back with parents, whatever, fill the cars up and take them to wherever you want to take them to. Because
once the flowers are yours, once you've got them, certain things might be like hireable and things, but again, have this conversation with your florist, because they'll be able to tell you.
Again, it's not a commonly done thing, but most people will just like give them as gifts to their family and friends. I'm loving the whole flower bar vibe. And I think do something like that. Going back to when we were talking about moving things, I'm also loving this whole big ceramic pot vibe.
Oh,
you have clusters of pots at the top of the
I
aisle.
really like that.
And then you can use like little miniature ones then down the centres of your tables, and you can have them just dotted around the room, especially if you've got a marquee, because you can then move them to like the big posts of the marquee.
I love
that whole garden pot vibe. I'd forgotten that. Just adding that in. But I would say common thing is to gift your flowers out to people. There is also isn't there charities where you can send them off and they make them into confetti and things like that?
There's loads of things like that. You can have them dried, you can have them turned into like paperweights.
You can, like resin stuff. So you can have your bouquet like preserved and stuff.
And this is all stuff that you need to be sorting out way before, because it really does require like one of my couples, she had some flowers taken from her bouquet and she had it made into a little necklace. That's lush. Love that. Nice. Fab. Okay, cool. Next up, we've got, hi, I hope you don't mind me messaging. I wanted to share, I loved this, by the way. I wanted to share a little moment from our wedding because it ended up being everyone's favourite part of the day. During the speeches, my brother-in-law surprised us doing Joey Tribbiani's We Are Gathered Here Today, Givers and Receivers. We have and we love and we give and we receive. Speech from friends, completely seriously. I thought it might give you and the followers a laugh. I love this. I did share it on our Instagram. It is funny. Although I did say Hayley won't get it because she's not. It was still funny though, and I still appreciated that it was funny.
If I remember, I'll reshare it again, but I literally shared it before
I did see. It's so funny.
If I remember, I'll reshare it when this episode goes out, but it was really, really, it was just the way he was so serious.
So serious.
I see so many people in the comments like, oh, I feel sad for you if you wanted like a serious ceremony. Like, all right, chill out.
Come on, like, care. What happened to your humour? Shut up.
Yeah, and also I think it was like he was doing a read-in. I think he'd been asked to do a read-in at the wedding.
I thought it was jokes. I was like, that's great.
I'm surprised we've not seen more people do it, to be honest.
Yeah. I love things like that. If someone did that at my wedding, obviously it wouldn't be friends related because I don't watch it.
No, but it's personal to you,
still,
isn't it?
It's obviously they do,
fan,
so they found it funny, and that's part of it. So, yeah.
And we also had a response to one of our TikToks recently, and we were talking about, it was on one of our episodes where we were saying about to avoid red in the month of February because roses are so expensive.
Yes.
And somebody asked, why avoid red or red roses? Freedom roses were only £1.15 for a 55 centimetre one. I don't know what that means, so I'll pass that to you.
Allow me. Firstly,
what's a freedom rose?
So freedom is the variety. So it's like the name of a rose. So so you get like different ones. Freedom is like your standard red rose.
Right.
I personally don't like them. Okay, they come from probably, I don't know, the Colombia or Ecuador, and they are like packaged in cardboard, and they come like tiny. You have to.
I think I know which ones you mean.
Yeah, and then they do open up.
This.
They do open up, and they are a nice rose, but they are not like a luxury rose.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, right. So they're not like that. Oh, I don't know how to explain it, but you get like a velvety red rose. That's what.
Yeah, they're quite like a small head, aren't they?
So they're not the.
They're
the
no.
best.
Who's that guy? David Austin.
They're no David Austin. No, they're not. I would.
You don't want them for your wedding.
I would never suggest a freedom rose at a wedding. For a start, it's not the variety I would go for.
They're not big enough, are they? So like,
they're not like a wedding rose. They're too much of a long head. I don't know how to explain it without. I think I'm gonna have to put a picture up for people to see the difference. If I do on the Instagram, if I put a photo of a freedom rose open and a photo of like another variety.
Oh yeah, do it.
I think cool. that I would normally use for a wedding. If someone asked me for a red rose, then you will see the difference. 55 centimeters for a start. The head's going to be tiny. 55 centimeters. So
£1.15. You're going to have to buy a lot of them to fill your centerpieces, your bouquets.
They're not that £1.15 is not. You're not getting a nice rose for that. Not on Valentine's Day. So yes, they may be £1.15, but I wouldn't be buying them for my customers. So that's the end of that one.
Next one, we've got, I am getting married in May 2027. When should I send my invite?
Oh.
Well, I got married in May.
Yes.
And so we always say the standard is, and we've said this before, 4 to 6 months before. For a May wedding, I sent mine out the first week of January. Do not send your invitations in December.
No.
People get them lost with Christmas cards. They've got too much on their minds. They don't want to think about it. So I just think January is such a nice month to send invitations. Everyone's like fed up. There's not a lot going on. It's dull outside. And it's like, we've got something to look forward to.
Yeah, this little cheeky package.
Now, I always think it's difficult, right, with invitations. Because I see this a lot, So I see so many people that are panicking sending out invites. Now, you need to send your save the date out when you book your venue, essentially. Once you know the date and where it's going to be, send them out. Because I get a lot of people say to me, but I've got people travelling internationally, they need to book flights, they need to book accommodation. That information needs to be on your save the date. So if you know everybody's travelling in, give a little line on there about, the celebrations are going to be happening across a couple of days. We would advise to arrive on this day, leave on this day. If you need to put in accommodation options because you want people to get accommodation booked in, put that in your save the date if you want to. I know it's probably not something you've organised, but just mention to people, like, you're not going to get your invitation. I actually think we need to normalise saying on the save the date, you will receive your invitation max at the latest 4 months before.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
so many of my couples are getting bombarded by family and friends when you send the invitations, but you don't actually as a guest need the invitation, because the invitation is just the information of the day.
Yeah, whereas you've already had your save this date, so you know when it is. You know where it is.
Yeah, exactly. So if you know when it is and where it is, you should be able to book flights, accommodation. You shouldn't need that main invite. And if you feel like people there's certain information they need to book flights and stuff, you need to put that on your save the date. If you send out your invites a year before your wedding, no one's going to look at them, no one's going to care. You're going to get asked so many more questions. People are going to get them and be like, why the hell am I getting this now? It's a long way away. So I've had the save the date. You do not need to send invites until 4 to 6 months before, if you've done that save the date properly.
Yeah. That's such a good point.
That's my answer on that one. You get married in May, send them in January.
Yeah, love it.
Absolutely fine. There's no need for people to know.
No, don't panic.
What taxi
they don't
company
need to know.
book.
No.
Like, what are you actually putting in your invites? The exact time of the ceremony, they don't need to know that really.
No.
You know, what food options they want. Well, they're not going to know that a year before.
No,
what taxi
exactly.
company they need to book with. Well, they're not going to be booking a taxi a year out. You know, even accommodation. Would you be booking more than 4 to 6 months before? Probably not.
No.
Unless it's like in August or something in Cornwall and you know everything's going to get booked up. But again, you put that on your save the date.
Yeah.
We would advise, due to the location and the time of year, to start getting your accommodation booked now. We would advise to arrive on Friday and leave on Sunday. No,
you can always put, I feel like people sometimes think that the save the date needs to be really, really vague, but actually there's no issue with putting a bit more detail in, like you say.
Yeah, if you think it's something
it's relevant,
you're going to be getting asked, you're going to panic about.
Yeah.
But if all your family are like pretty local or that it's in the UK,
then you don't need to.
You really don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
If you're travelling, like say I was now travelling to Norfolk for one of my friends' weddings, I wouldn't be booking my hotel any more than 4 to 6 months before, you know? But also if I'd got to save the date and I knew, I'm going that date for a wedding, then I would book my accommodation around it anyway. I don't understand why there's so much stress about this and people get so worried about sending them early.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
And why guests contact couples like, when's the invitation coming out? When's the invitation coming out?
God's sake.
Oh, go away. But I do think we need to start normalising writing that on a save the date about you will receive more information for maximum 4 months before. Yeah. Because then it gives you a bit of leeway. Because even if in your head you send them out 6 months before, I mean, look what we were just talking about.
That's
them
true.
envelopes delayed. You know, you just never know. So yeah.
Agree.
There you go. Cool. Well, that's our advice Q&A recommendations episode.
Hope you've enjoyed.
Yeah. You know where we are. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and we're also on YouTube. And make sure you are subscribing, following, commenting on the episodes. It all helps us. We don't do this. We don't get paid to do this.
Sadly.
It's enjoyable. So we would love for people to spread it far and wide, just to help us out a little bit. So we are at Let's Get You Wed Podcast on social media, and we are Let's Get You Wed Podcast at gmail.com. So write in with your questions.
Yeah, write them in.
From us next. And next week we've got our newsy bits.
Yes, exciting.
So we will see you then.
See you then, guys.